A sunny morning fills Peppa's house with familiar laughter and joy. Peppa and George play in their bedroom while Daddy Pig reads newspaper downstairs. Mummy Pig prepares breakfast in the kitchen, humming her favorite tune. Everything seems perfectly normal in their cozy little home. Strange green mist seeps through the kitchen window as Mummy Pig cooks. The mist swirls around her feet, unnoticed and silent. Mummy Pig continues cooking, but her movements become slower and more mechanical. Her cheerful humming gradually fades into an eerie silence. Peppa bounces down the stairs calling for breakfast with George following behind. They enter the kitchen expecting warm pancakes and Mummy's bright smile. Instead, they find Mummy Pig standing motionless, staring at the wall. Her eyes have turned a pale, cloudy white color. Peppa and George scream as Mummy Pig lurches toward them with jerky movements. Daddy Pig quickly grabs the children and rushes them upstairs. They lock themselves in the bedroom while strange groaning sounds echo. Mummy Pig's footsteps shuffle heavily on the stairs below. The family huddles together as Mummy Pig pounds on the bedroom door. Grandpa Pig arrives in his car, honking the horn frantically outside. Through the window, they see other zombie neighbors wandering the streets. Daddy Pig creates a rope from bedsheets to escape through the window. Peppa and George climb down carefully while Daddy follows behind them. The family runs to Grandpa Pig's car as zombie neighbors approach slowly. Grandpa Pig drives them away from the infected village quickly. At Grandpa's safe house, they discover a cure in his medicine cabinet. The green antidote glows mysteriously in a small glass bottle. Daddy Pig realizes they must return to save Mummy Pig. Despite the danger, love conquers their fear of the zombies. They return to find Mummy Pig collapsed in the garden, weak. Daddy Pig carefully gives her the glowing green antidote medicine. Slowly, her normal pink color returns and her eyes clear. Mummy Pig awakens, confused but completely back to normal again. A sunny morning fills Peppa's house with familiar laughter. Peppa and George play in their bedroom where the bunk bed stands against the wall, George below, Peppa above. Mummy Pig cooks in the kitchen while Daddy Pig reads his newspaper in the living room. Everything seems normal, but a subtle, barely noticeable tension hangs in the air. The lights in Peppa's room begin to flicker strangely. The toys on the shelf start moving by themselves, slowly turning their heads toward the children. Peppa notices something is wrong but tries to stay calm. George's dinosaur toy falls to the floor with a loud crash, making both children jump. Downstairs, Mummy Pig hears strange noises coming from upstairs. The kitchen lights dim and brighten repeatedly. Plates and cups on the counter start rattling without any wind. She calls for Daddy Pig, but her voice sounds hollow and distant in the suddenly cold house. Daddy Pig's newspaper pages turn by themselves as he sits frozen in his chair. The television switches channels rapidly, showing only static and dark images. His glasses fog up mysteriously, and he can hear whispers coming from the walls around him. Peppa and George huddle together on the lower bunk as shadows move across their bedroom walls. The wardrobe door creaks open slowly, revealing nothing but darkness inside. Cold air flows from the opening. Both children shiver as their breath becomes visible in the suddenly freezing room. The family gathers in the living room, all looking pale and frightened. Outside, the sky has turned an unnatural gray color despite it being midday. The windows fog up from inside, and strange handprints appear on the glass. No one speaks as they watch the mysterious marks spread across every window. Susie Sheep arrives at the front door, but her eyes are completely white and her movements are stiff and unnatural. She speaks in a voice that doesn't sound like her own, asking to come inside. The ghost finally reveals itself as a translucent figure floating in the center of the living room. It wears old-fashioned clothes and has a sad, lonely expression. The temperature drops even further, and everyone's breath creates thick clouds of vapor. The ghost reaches out toward the family with pale, ghostly hands. Peppa bravely steps forward and asks the ghost why it's in their house. The ghost explains in a hollow voice that it lived in this house long ago and just wants to be remembered. It shows them old photographs that appear floating in the air, depicting a happy family from many years past. The family realizes the ghost isn't evil, just lonely and forgotten. They invite the ghost to stay and be part of their family memories. The house returns to normal as warm sunlight streams through the windows again. The ghost becomes a friendly presence, helping with small tasks and playing gentle games with Peppa and George. The family learns that sometimes what seems scary is just someone who needs kindness and understanding. They all laugh together as the ghost tickles them with invisible fingers, and the house fills with joy once more. A sunny morning fills Peppa's house with familiar laughter and warmth. Peppa and George play in their bedroom, the bunk bed standing against the wall with George below and Peppa above. Mummy Pig cooks breakfast in the kitchen while Daddy Pig reads his newspaper in the living room. Everything seems perfectly normal, but a subtle tension hangs in the air like morning mist. Peppa jumps in muddy puddles outside, her usual joyful squeals echoing through the garden. But something feels different today. Her jumps are more aggressive, more violent. The mud splashes higher than usual, covering her face in dark streaks. Her eyes gleam with an unusual hunger as she stares at the dirty water. The family gathers for lunch around their familiar red table. Peppa sits quietly, which is very unusual for her. Her parents exchange worried glances as she pushes her food around the plate. Suddenly, Peppa's teeth begin to grow longer and sharper. Nobody notices at first, but the transformation has begun. Peppa and Susie play in the garden, but the games have changed. Peppa chases Susie with predatory intensity, her new teeth clicking together hungrily. Susie runs in terror, her bleating cries echoing across the hills. The innocent playground has become a hunting ground. Mummy and Daddy Pig finally see what their daughter has become. They stand frozen in the doorway, unable to comprehend the monster their sweet Peppa has turned into. Her growls fill the house, replacing the laughter that once echoed through these walls. The family portrait on the wall seems to watch in silent horror. Peppa prowls through the house at night, her teeth gleaming in the moonlight streaming through the windows. Every creak of the floorboards sounds like a predator stalking its prey. The familiar home has become a dark maze where danger lurks in every shadow. The other animal families in the village begin to disappear one by one. Empty houses dot the hillside like missing teeth in a smile. Only muddy footprints and strange bite marks remain as evidence of what happened. The cheerful community has become a ghost town. Grandpa Pig arrives to find his family's house eerily quiet. He calls out for everyone, but only silence answers. The sun sets over the empty village as Peppa stands alone on the hilltop. Her transformation is complete. She is no longer the innocent little pig everyone loved. The wind carries her haunting laughter across the abandoned landscape. The lesson is clear. Sometimes the monsters we fear most are the ones we create ourselves.